Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and I thought today we would look at a few different species and types of fish and talk about sort of how to know when they're ready to breed and how to get them in the mood to breed. Now, these are Pelvicochromis cribensis, a West African dwarf cichlid. Just your common crib, but this particular pair were wild caught, so they have pretty nice color. The male is the one with the blue fins, and the female is noticeably yellow. Now, these guys are about 6 years old, so they are certainly well mature, but when they're ready to breed, the female will get this super yellow color and that bright purple or pink belly. And you'll notice that she follows the male everywhere he goes, and that's because in order for them to breed, she tries to entice him into a cave structure in order for her to lay her eggs and him to fertilize, and then she'll guard those eggs until they hatch and become free swimming. Now, these guys aren't currently breeding, but you can tell that they're certainly in the mood. I'm not really trying that hard to condition them, as they are a common fish that can be found in most pet stores. Well, at least pet stores that carry more unique fish. These are a dwarf cichlid that I think are particularly well suited to a community aquarium, and they're absolutely bonkers pretty when in breeding dress like this. If they do spawn, perhaps I'll raise some of the fry, but it's not really a priority right now. But you can see how she is just trying to entice him in every direction, flashing her colors and trying to get him to go into a cave, but so far he's not really paying attention. Now, in order to get dwarf cichlids to spawn, it's important to feed them a high-protein, high-fat diet to condition them so that she can make the eggs needed in order for him to fertilize them. It's also important to provide the correct structures. I don't really have the perfect structures in here, as this aquarium is set up more for breeding the various plecos that are in there, but I did add a few botanical pods in order for her to spawn in should she choose to. And the key there is to have something where she can defend the eggs so other fish can't get in and eat them. We'll see what happens, so stay tuned to see if these guys do eventually spawn or not. Up next, we have my wild Betta maja, and I think it's really obvious that these guys go through a radical color change when they are getting ready to spawn. For these guys, I haven't spawned them yet, though this particular male is making tons and tons and tons of bubble nests, but I have been feeding them pretty heavily in order to hopefully get them to spawn, and I have seen the female as well in breeding dress, and they're certainly engaging in courtship almost constantly, but I haven't unlocked exactly what's missing for these fish yet. It may very well just be the food that I'm feeding them. I have let the water line drop quite low, but it's really fun to watch them display, color up, chase each other, and really just this intense coloration change is how I know that these fish are ready to go. Now, a few of the things that I've done for these particular fish to help make it easier for them to spawn is I have a really tight-fitting lid on this aquarium in order to have enough humidity above the water surface for the eggs once they're laid. I also have quite a lot of botanicals, very thick planting, and a lot of surface plants so that the female can avoid the male as needed and so that he has structures to attach his bubble nest to. Fingers crossed these guys spawn soon. Every single day I think they're about to go. Up next, I wanted to look at my honeycomb catfish. Now, catfish in general are ones that are a test of patience. Many of the species, it takes quite a while for them to get to full sexual maturity. And once they do, you'll notice that the females are generally way rounder and often bigger than the males. And you want to make sure that they have really, really, really round bellies before you start prepping them to breed. Now, again, this is a species that I haven't bred this go round, but I have bred in the past, and I'm just sort of waiting for them to decide it's the time. We've been having tons and tons and tons of thunderstorms here in Pennsylvania, and I am seeing breeding activity in about half of the aquariums down here, so I'm hopeful that for these guys, it will be soon. Now, I could certainly improve the chances a lot if I had live or frozen food, but I am currently out of that in the fish room right now. However, I did set up a tub in my yard for Daphnia, so I'm hoping that sooner rather than later I'll be able to give these guys some live food and really, really jumpstart the chances of their spawning. They're a really incredible fish, and I think you have to admit that the wiggles are next level. Next, we're going to look in my ancestral tank. These are my super reds, and you can see that there are fry everywhere. But what shocked me is I found Tetra fry in here. Now, I haven't been intentionally trying to breed these Tetras, but there are fry literally everywhere. And you can see that these are fish that are well mature. There's sexual dimorphism, meaning the boys look different than the girls with those red tails and the elongated streamers on their fins. And it's pretty exciting to know that this Tetra is breedable. Perhaps I should move them into my outdoor tubs this summer to see what happens, because they are really gorgeous. Now, these fish are probably about 3 years old, so again, well mature, and you can see that their body condition is quite good. It may also be that in this aquarium, the ancestors spawn constantly, and that could be triggering these fish. Plus, there's all those super dense areas of African water fern in order for eggs to avoid being eaten by the parents. Now, as far as ancestors, they can actually spawn at a pretty small size, but you can see they also have obvious sexual dimorphism in that the males get those really long bristles, where they get their name bristlenose pleco, on their nose. And with these guys, I think a key is obviously having enough caves, but also including botanicals into their diet. It's fine to just feed them prepared foods, but I think that having a lot of wood and botanicals just really increases the chances of their spawning, and it gives a surface for the fry to graze on in between feedings in order to increase the rate of the babies surviving. And you can see in this aquarium, there's literally fish of all sizes everywhere, and they're noshing on the leaves, they're on the pellets that I feed them, they're on the wood, and they're on the plants, and everybody has really round bellies. As always, thanks for your continued support. Stay home and stay safe.